Hello and welcome back to the course. In this particular video, we are going to be discussing about Python programming. So let's get started with it. So first of all, let's discuss what all topics we are going to be covering throughout this video. So first, we are going to be taking a look at what is programming and understanding what is the need of programming. Once we are done with that, we are going to be moving forward with understanding why we need to learn about Python programming. After that, we are going to be taking a look at history of Python programming, and at last but not the least, we are going to be comparing Python programming with other programming languages. So let's get started with it. So first, we are going to be understanding what is the use of programming or what is programming. So to understand this thing, let's move to the next slide. And here you can see that there is a person and a computer. So here is a computer with us, and there is a person who wants to perform certain operation using this computer. Now the operation, let's say, is addition of these two numbers, and they want to perform this certain operation. So this person needs to give the command to this computer in the form of a program that he or she will be writing. So in our case, that will be Python programming that we're going to be using to give the command to the computer. But why we need a programming language? So let's say we want to communicate with the computer don't understand our language that we speak, that is English. Computer have their own language that they understand, that is called as binary language. So it is in the form of zeros and ones. So whatever command we give to the computers, they first try to convert that code into binary language, which is also known as machine language, that is understandable by our computers. And after that, the computer is given this binary code in form of an input as a program, and after that it tries to perform that certain operation of addition of these two numbers, and it give us the answer in the form of the language that we understand. So we will get this answer as 4 in our output. So this is how the programming works. So the programming language acts as an translator in between the user and the computer. So first of all, we write a code in Python programming. After that, it is being converted to binary language. And after that, this binary code that is converted is given to the computer so it can understand this binary code. And once the calculation is done, the computer returns the output in the form of binary. Then that binary is converted to the language that we understand. So I hope you got a clear idea of how programming works. So basically, a programming language acts as a translator between us and the computer. So there are different programming languages that are available like C, C++, and there is also Java programming. And we also have Python here. So these are different programming languages that we can use to communicate with our computer and perform certain operation. So this is how the programming works. So I hope you now have a clear idea why do we need programming. So now let's move to the next topic, that is why to learn Python programming. So if you go on Google and search how many programming languages are there, so you will get this first result that says Wikipedia claims that there are around 700 programming languages. And if you search for the most popular programming language, you will get the first result as Python programming with 28% market share. And if you see this below, that why is Python most popular programming language, you will get the Python is one of the most accessible programming language available because it has simplified syntax and not complicated, which gives more emphasis on natural language. So Python programming, it's similar to writing a sentence in English, and anyone can learn Python programming very easily because it is similar to English language. So other programming languages like C, Java, C++ have some complex syntax. So a beginner in programming gets confused with this complex syntax of C, C++ and Java programming language, but Python programming language has a similar syntax to writing a sentence in English. So it makes very easy for a beginner to understand the syntax of Python programming. That's why it's one of the most popular programming language. If you move to the next slide. So on this slide, you can see that most in-demand programming language of 2022 based on LinkedIn job posting in USA and Europe. And you can see on the top, we have Python programming with over 2 lakh plus job posting in USA alone. And in Europe, we have around 75,000 job posting on LinkedIn related to Python programming. So you can see that why Python is one of the most popular programming language, because it is most demanding programming language, and a lot of job postings are available on LinkedIn like platforms related to Python programming. And these job postings are from USA and Europe area. So you can see that there is a lot of opportunity for Python developers in the market right now, and we have a lot of job availability for the developers. If we move to the next slide, you can see why Python programming. Python is one of the most popular programming language in the world because of its user friendliness and simple syntax similar to English language. So you might have a question in your mind that who founded Python programming? So the founder of Python programming is Rudo van Rossum, and he introduced Python programming in year 1991. And since the launch, it has been 33 years, and still Python programming language is alive. And during its initial days, it was not having that much popularity, but in the last decade, it is getting a lot of popularity among the programmers because it is versatile programming language. The name Python was derived from a TV show that Rudo van Rossum was watching. It is named after this show named Monty Python's Flying Circus. So Rudo van Rossum gave the programming language name as Python. Let's try comparing Python programming language syntax to other programming languages syntax. So let's take an example of Hello World program. So here you can see we have C code for Hello World, C++ code for Hello World, and Java code for writing Hello World or printing out Hello World. You can see that the C code uses 5 lines of code to print Hello World. The C++ code uses 6 lines of code to print Hello World. And at last, we can see that we have a Java code for printing out Hello World, and it uses around 8 lines of code to just print Hello World. But in Python, we just need to write a single line of code that says print Hello World, and it will give us the output as Hello World. So this is the simplicity of Python, and it's very easy to print something out by writing just a single line of code instead of using multiple lines of code. Here you can see we have to write this much amount of code to just print Hello World. As compared to C, C++, and Java, it uses a lot of lines to perform a certain operation. Let's say we are going to be writing a code for all these programming languages. As compared to other programming languages, Python will be using less amount of code to perform the same operation that other programming languages are also going to be performing, but it will be using less number of lines or less number of code. It makes programming a lot easy for beginners, so they don't need to write multiple lines of code to just perform a certain operation. You can see with the example of Hello World. Similarly, if you perform any other operation like addition, subtraction, multiplication, it will be taking a lot less amount of code to write to perform that operation. So I hope you got a clear idea and the difference between other programming languages and Python, and how simple is the syntax of Python. So that was it for this particular video. Let's move to the next video of our course.